Hi everyone, welcome back to Java 1 for All. In this video we are going to talk about the narrowing cast. So basically the previous one was the widening cast, when we send like a subclass object to a superclass reference variable. Is what is happening here in the product text report service. Basically we have a product reference variable that's receiving here in our test the computer, tomato, and television that are subclasses of product. So let's say that we have a requirement where we should display the tomato best consumed before date. So how can we actually get back? So for that, let's create a new class. Actually, let's copy this one, product test 02, and let's rename it to product test 03. And we can remove all this data here and all this data here and also all this data here. So we want to first add the best before date to the tomato, but we have a problem. Product does not have knowledge about the tomato class. So the reference variable will never be able to add something that it does not recognize. So the first thing we have to do is change the reference variable here to tomato. So now we can add tomato dot set best consumed before, and we can give a date. For example, this is a genetically modified tomato. Now we are going to go back to the product stat report service, and we have to print that tomato back. So as we know, we cannot access the best before from the product. Basically, we already know that we need a reference variable that is a tomato. And we know that the product here, it is getting a reference to an object that is a tomato. If we go back to what we were drawing, we know that at some point the product is having a reference to a tomato. And now we have to create a reference variable that is a tomato. It's something that we just created here. And we need this reference variable to have a reference to the same object this product is having. So basically, we are going to have two references, one that's product, another one that's tomato, to the same object. Now, technically, this is something that you need to do. But we have a problem. We are doing a narrowing cast. So if you remember the first classes when we were trying to put long inside an integer, we have to force the compiler to accept. And we have to force because now we are moving from something that's wider to something that's narrower. So product, it can be, of course, a tomato, but product can also be a computer and a television. So we have to tell the compiler that we know what we are doing. And we know that this product object is a tomato. That's why we can do a cast here. And now we can print the best consumed before. So let's go back to product test 03 and let's call product text report service dot generate text report, and we are going to send who? The tomato that we have created on line 12. Control Shift F10, and then we can see the proper value. So it's working perfectly fine. We just have one problem. Whatever we are doing in this product text report service, we are going to have other objects affected. How does that work? Imagine that we are going to call now the same method, but we are going to pass something different. We are going to pass computer. So product text report service dot generate text report, and this product here, that's having a reference to an object that is a computer. So Shift F10. As you can see, the first part worked perfectly, but the second, at the point we tried to have a cast, boom, we have a class cast exception. So basically Java was trusting us and we broke that trust, and that's why we have this runtime exception. So basically what we have here is a problem that the product at some point in time we are trying to change into a tomato is a computer. If you add a breakpoint and you press Shift F9, so the first time this generate text report is called is through a tomato reference. So as you can see here, we have a tomato object, and the tomato object will be perfectly converted, perfectly cast to tomato reference. So if I press F8, we do have a tomato. But if I press F9, because the second time this method is being called is through a computer, we will see here that we have a computer being referenced by this product, and we cannot cast computer to tomato. That's why we have class cast exception. So basically what we need is to check if the product is an instance of a tomato. So we need if this product is whatever is reference is an instance of tomato, then I would like you to do this piece of code. And if it's not, well, it would just bypass from line 14 to 17. If I press Shift F10 to execute the product as directory again, you will notice that everything works without a problem, and we have the date, but for the computer we don't have that date, because if I put a breakpoint here, you will notice that the product is an instance of tomato in the first try, and if I press F9 to just continue, you will see that the second time the product is not an instance of tomato, it's an instance of computer. That's why this will never be executed. So basically, every time you are doing a narrowing cast, you have to explicitly do the cast yourself. And when you are doing the cast yourself, you have to be careful and make sure that the cast is happening in a safe mode. You know that the instance is exactly what you are looking for. That's why we have the instance of. Now, just another thing, there is a way to have this cast and this call in one line. So basically, you can change this entire reference by this piece right here. Just have to add another parenthesis, and then you copy this and you add it here. So basically, this will result into a tomato reference. You just are not giving any name to this reference, and that's why we can get consumed before. I can remove this line and execute again. You will notice that everything's working perfectly fine. So that's everything that I have to tell you in this video. So see you in the next one. Bye.